Hurricane Maria. About 70% of the territory's 107,000 residents are still without power more than a month after the storm made landfall. The islands are also desperate for tourists who normally keep its economy afloat. Democratic Representative Stacey Plaskett told Congress yesterday that attracting tourists this year will be nearly impossible. With resorts closed, jobs are scarce, plus gasoline, generators, and food are more expensive than they are on the mainland of the United States. Virgin Islands Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett joins me now. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us. You and I have talked about this before. If you look at the statistics of the U.S. Virgin Islands, it's some very high percentage that is dependent on tourism, but it's actually more than the percentage that you would think, because there are entire businesses that you wouldn't think are connected with the tourist industry, service industries and things like that, that only exist because there's a tourist industry. So it's probably upward of 90% of the island depends on robust tourism.
Well, at this point, we have about 50% of our GDP is based on tourism, which is a significant number for an island to base its economy on the disposable income of other people. Because of the hurricanes and the loss of many of our resorts, that, of course, is going to be compromised. Airlift has not been the same, as well as the cruise ships even coming into port. So we're really going to have to struggle in this next year and a half. Many of the resorts have said it's going to take about 2 years to rebuild. And so this is an opportunity for us to recreate ourselves and to rethink, but we're going to really need the support of Congress to do that.
What's the chicken and what's the egg here? Because you need the tourism to come back, but the infrastructure has now been ruined to the point that it's not everybody's obvious choice to go to the U.S. Virgin Islands until they've heard from enough people that it's mostly up and running.
Right. Well, you know, when you talk about chicken and the egg, part of the chicken and the egg is the fact that committees like Transportation and Infrastructure took away a lot of the money out of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and removed us from the formulas like the states were, and really gave us inadequate funding to support the infrastructure, which really contributed to the amount of devastation on the island. So while we're going to continue to need to rebuild, people on the island also we need to begin thinking about other industries. I've talked to members of Congress about fixing the tax law, which they decimated in 2004, and this is a huge opportunity for us to recoup the losses we had in the changes in the 2004 Jobs Act, which took away a lot of our knowledge-based businesses. I'm sure, Ali, you're aware of what happened in Puerto Rico with the pharmaceuticals and others. That's one of the reasons that I came back home in the early 2000s, was because of the tax laws that were there, which allowed Virgin Islanders to come back home into some of the financial services and knowledge-based businesses. So I'm asking Congress to correct what they did previously so that we can boost those industries as well as begin working on tourism as well. And
do you feel you got support in Congress for this?
Well, listen, I think that members are listening right now. I talked with them about the Stafford Act, which is where a lot of the relief money is coming out of, that right now the bill says and the law says that you rebuild as was, and that's just going to put us back in a position at the next hurricane where we're going to have those infrastructure decimated again. I think a lot of Republican members realize that that's not fiscally responsible and that the Stafford Act needs to be amended to build as should be, which will make us much more resilient, harden some of our utilities as well, so that we can withstand the next hurricane to come. Because as you and I both know, climate change is real, and it's going to happen again.
And mitigating it on the front end when building is a lot cheaper than fixing it on the back end. We're going to stay with you and the people of the Virgin Islands as this conversation continues and the rebuild of the Virgin Islands continues. Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, thanks for joining me.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
And now to the recovery in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Yesterday we told you about Operation Agua, a nonprofit that is supplying Puerto Ricans with their own water purification systems. The systems are being delivered to Puerto Ricans for about $30 a piece, and they're